So out of the box, you get the camera and then you get some accessories. Let's check out the accessories first. Now first, we're going to talk about, you have a USB-C to USB-C cable. This cable is not proprietary, so you can use any cable you want. Say you lose this or something, you can use any USB-C to USB-C cable. This is fairly long, so you can connect it to the top of your monitor or laptop to a USB port. And then the good thing about this is, if you don't have a USB-C port on your laptop or desktop, it does come with an adapter. So you plug the USB-C cable into here, and then a lot of you are probably used to the USB-A, and you plug this into your desktop, laptop, whatever, and you can get going. Now next, we'll actually talk about the camera. Now this camera is a 3-axis gimbal, so it doesn't go around 360, but it almost makes it, as you can see, I can go almost all the way around. And then that's one axis, and then you can see it twist here. That's the second axis, and then here, this head moves, and that's the third axis. So that's how you get the 3-axis gimbal. The camera is right here, and then in the front, you have dual microphones for noise canceling. And then at the bottom, you have a built-in stand that you can hook onto the top of a monitor or a laptop, where some of them are separate. This one's all in one, so you have to carry anything extra around or even potential losing it. And then also at the bottom, you have a 1/4-20 mount, so you can place it on a tripod if you want to put it next to your laptop or put it on a desk, something like that, instead of having to hook it onto a monitor or a laptop. So that's about it for this. Oh, one more thing. You have the USB-C plug in the back. Now, the real magic is in the software, so let's go check that out. So this will give you an idea of what the image will look like with the Insta360 Link. It's a very good image. It's a 4K image. You can bump it down if need be. But just remember, it is dependent on lighting. So if you have very good lighting, the picture will look a lot better. But if you have very dark lighting, then it'll look grainy or fuzzy and it won't be as sharp. So keep that in mind. So now let's get into the software. Let's go from left to right. So here at the bottom, you have your preview menu. So it'll turn off this screen right here. And then also you can switch between 4K, 1080p, and 720p. And then we'll talk about these buttons in a little bit. And then you can do a screenshot, so I can take a picture of the video that you're seeing, and then I can record the video camera. Say I want to record something for YouTube or a meeting or anything like that, I can do that as well. So let's look at the controls. So here you can control things from here. You can actually control the gimbal from this app as far as moving it. I can move it left or right depending on where I want it to go, and then I can reset it and center it back. Makes it a little low, so we want to move it up just a bit, and there we go. And then I can zoom in or out if I want to, like so. And then say I want to save some preset positions. So for instance, I want to go to the right or I want to go to the left, and there's a certain spot I want it to hit. I can save those here, and then I can just click on it, and then it'll go straight to that spot, and I won't have to line it up like you just saw me with my head. And then next we go to image settings, and then you can do auto exposure, or you can manually control it. So that'll just make it the picture lighter or brighter. You can do auto white balance. I leave it on auto white balance, but you control that as well. It just controls the color and how natural they look. You control brightness, contrast, saturation, sharpness, and you can save presets. So say you travel and you go to different places, you can say home, office, hotel, stuff like that, and you can have that set in there if it has the same lighting everywhere in those different places. And then next you can go to more settings. We'll talk about gestures, but you can control the app within here, or you can use palm gestures. You can put up your palm and then it'll track me as I move. You can zoom in by going up and down, and then a whiteboard feature, which I'll show you in a little bit. And then also you have head, so it'll zoom in more on my head. I have half body, it'll show a little bit more of my body, or I can do whole body, say I'm doing a workout or something like that. Anti-flicker, it just depends on the type of monitor you have. You can just leave it on auto. Tracking speed, so that's also if I'm moving left or right, how quickly it'll go fast, normal, or slow. And then autofocus, I'll usually keep that on there, but you can manually focus if you're not moving around too much or it's a static image. Streamer mode just basically means it'll flip it so it looks like a cell phone. So it'll give me that vertical view instead of this wide view. And then HDR won't work in 4K, but see some of those black areas here that are really dark? Well, with HDR, it'll brighten it up so you can see it better. So everything looks clearer and you won't have these dark spots. And then mirror image, it's just flipping the image. So this stuff, oops, this stuff that's over here will flip over onto the other side, and then firmware, serial number, blah, blah, blah. Nothing too important there. So now let's get into what I was talking about as far as this bottom piece. So for this, you can control the different features, gestures, as we talked about earlier. So this one is tracking. So now as I move, it will track me. As you can see. And then next, you have a whiteboard feature. You turn this on. I don't have a whiteboard, so I'll show you an example of that. This is what it looks like. And then you also have a overhead view, and this is what it looks like. And then lastly, you have a desktop view. So with that, you can view it, and then you can actually put something here so that can be seen. So say I have a piece of paper or something that I want to demonstrate, but also you see how this is not centered? I can move the gimbal with my hand and it won't affect anything. It's fine to move the gimbal, and you can adjust it accordingly so things line up a little bit better. And then I'll just take it off desktop view. And there you go. So let's do the gestures without the software, because you don't need the software to use the gestures, like I said, for face tracking, zooming, or whiteboard. All you have to do is use the gestures, and the application can be closed and not even open. So let's test that out now. Now we're recording in Zoom in the conferencing software, and then I'll show you how to use the gestures when the Insta360 Link app is closed and not even open. So let's get started. So you want to put your hand up. So it recognizes it, and now I will be tracked, just like so. And then if I want to zoom in, just kind of hold it here. And then those are the two gestures that you can use. You can use the tracking and the zoom in and zoom out. And one thing I did forget to mention is when the camera doesn't detect any use for about 5 seconds, it will go into privacy mode, which it'll flip the camera head down. And so you have your privacy that way, so you don't have to fear that the camera's on and someone's watching you. So there you go. Hope this helps. Take care.